het nieuws met betrekking tot arrestatiebevelen. Nederland respecteert vanzelfsprekend de onafhankelijkheid van het internationaal strafhof, bemoeit zich niet inhoudelijk met onderzoeken die door het internationaal strafhof worden uitgevoerd. We gaan die uitspraak nu bestuderen, maar de lijn van het kabinet is helder. We zijn partij bij het Statuut van Rome en op basis van het Statuut van Rome en de uitvoeringswet internationaal strafhof zijn we verplicht om samen te werken met het internationaal strafhof en dat zullen wij dus ook doen. We leven het Statuut van Rome 100% na, voorzitter.
Vanaf het moment dat zo'n arrestatiebevel is uitgevaardigd, kan de minister wat bevestigen. Hij vertrekt namelijk zelf maandag, begrijp ik, naar Israël-Palestina.
Pardon?
Dat is niet het geval. Oké.
Pardon?
Wacht, mevrouw Piri.
Mevrouw Piri.
Betekent dit als welk lid dan ook van het kabinet naar Israël gaat, dat daar geen ontmoeting met premier Netanyahu op de agenda kan staan? En we weten ook dat een van onze Kamerleden een persoonlijke uitnodiging heeft gehad van dezelfde premier tegen wie nu een arrestatiebevel is uitgevaardigd. Wat zijn daar nou de consequenties van?
Voorzitter, ik wil ten eerste heel graag van mevrouw Piri weten waar zij de informatie vandaan heeft dat ik maandag Israël zou bezoeken. Waar komt die informatie vandaan?
Met alle respect, maar het werkt hier volgens mij net omgekeerd. Namelijk dat ik het kabinet controleer. Als dat niet klopt, dan trek ik dat meteen terug. Maar dat beantwoordt niet mijn vraag.
Ja, maar het is wel een vraag. En die neem ik zeer ernstig. Want het gaat niet alleen over mijn reisprogramma, het gaat ook over de veiligheid van mijn reisprogramma waar ik heen ga. En ik neem het zeer ernstig op dat er kennelijk hier in de Kamer bij Kamerleden informatie is gedeeld of informatie bekend is over een bezoek wat ik al of niet zou brengen, wat nog niet gepubliceerd is.
Members of Congress, I now have the high privilege and distinct honor of presenting to you His Excellency Benjamin Netanyahu, Prime Minister of Israel. Thank you.
Thank you.
These arrest warrants will have an impact because, of course, every member of the ICC, more than 100 countries, are now obliged to arrest both of these individuals, Benjamin Netanyahu, Yoav Gallant, if they set foot on their territory.
We have to condemn the atrocities that happen every day to Palestinians in the West Bank. You mentioned sexual violence. I was part of the human rights vetting process for arms going to Israel, and a charity called Defense of Children International Palestine drew our attention at the State Department to the sexual assault, actually the rape, of a 13-year-old boy that occurred in an Israeli prison in the Mosque Bia in Jerusalem. We examined these allegations. We believed they were credible. We put them to the government of Israel. And you know what happened the next day? The IDF went into the DCIP offices and removed all their computers and declared them a terrorist entity. I think it is vital that atrocities not happen to anyone, not sexual violations, not any kind of gross violation of human rights. We are looking at a situation where there is so much dehumanification, where people are not seen for the value that they have.
I've never been more worried about our people than I am right now. What they're doing against Israel reeks of politics, and the system at the ICC is corrupt at its core. How in the world can you legitimize the work product of somebody you believe needs to be investigated before the investigation's done? How can you proceed against a nation who's willing to talk to you before you hear their side of the story? So I will not let this go.
I'm going to read you some heavy criticism that you've received from the United States. As we know, the United States is not a party to the ICC, nor is Israel. Recently, when word came out that this may be happening at some point, U.S. senators and U.S. congresspeople, mostly Republicans, wrote you a letter signed by Senator Tom Cotton, Mitch McConnell, Ted Cruz, Marco Rubio, and others. This is the quote: "Target Israel and we will target you. If you move forward with the measures indicated in the report, we will move to end all American support for the ICC, sanction your employees and associates, and bar you and your families from the United States. You have been warned." Is that a threat?
I think that's the plain meaning of it in English. And I've said to distinguished members on the Hill and to the administration that Rome Statute values are quintessential American values. It's against bullying. It's against the untrammeled power against the most vulnerable. It's the rights and the dignity of the individual. It's the protection of babies. I mean, these are fundamental American values that should engender bipartisan support. Now, of course, this situation, unfortunately, lies on the San Andreas fault of international politics and strategic interests. And of course, I've had some elected leaders speak to me and be very blunt. This court is built for Africa and for thugs like Putin, was what one senior leader told me. We don't view it like that. This court is the legacy of Nuremberg. This court is a sad indictment of humanity. This court should be the triumph of law over power and brute force. Grab what you can, take what you want, do what you will. And we're going to simply be, we're not going to be dissuaded by threats or any other activities, because in the end we have to fulfill our responsibilities as prosecutors, as the men and women of the office, as judges, as the registry, to something bigger than ourselves, which is the fidelity to justice. And we're not going to be swayed by the different types of threats, some of which are public and some maybe are not.
Freedom is indivisible. And when one man is enslaved, all are not free.
For freedom is not the property of one generation. It's the obligation of this and every generation. It's our duty to protect it and expand it and pass it undiminished to those still unborn.